I do want to go to the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line, though. A good friend of this program, Great American Patriot, our good friend, Congressman Barry Loudermilk. Congressman, hope you're doing well today.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Todd, other than pretty heavy rain shower here in Georgia. But other than that, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're building arcs here in Memphis, so we haven't seen the sun in a good week. So, my goodness, Congressman, we appreciate you coming on the phone line with us today. A lot happening. First, I would love to get your response, your reaction to Brittany Griner being released and really traded for a man who is a very dangerous person who could end up killing Americans.
Yeah, it's I'm happy that we were able to get an American back, but I can't help but imagine that Ronald Reagan or Donald Trump would have agreed to that level of exchange. I mean, you have to look at what is in the best interest of America, and it's a really tough call when you have an American citizen who appears was being imprisoned for political reasons, but at the same time, what was the offense that they were being held for? And I just feel like if we had somebody who was strong in the White House, if a deal was going to be made, it would have been made on different terms.
NBC News reporting, and this is a very bizarre thing that's happened, but NBC News within the past little while reported that the U.S. government had sought to have both Griner and Whelan released as part of a swap with the Kremlin. So we would have swapped those two for Victor Bout. But a U.S. official said Russia had treated Whelan differently because he is an accused spy, and the Kremlin gave the White House the choice of either Griner or Whelan or none. That report, after it was published, was amended and all of that was removed. But I suspect that the original story is the truth here, Congressman. What is your reaction if, in fact, the White House was given a choice here?
If that is true, then that is another area that I think there needs to be congressional investigation into. First of all, Whelan's been in there much longer on trumped-up charges of spying, veteran. There has to be prioritization when this happens. And if that story is true, which I'm kind of with you, I'm skeptical right now. A story comes out and is suppressed with what all is going on in mainstream media right now. I think this is something that we definitely need to dive into. We need to look into deeply, and then hold the White House accountable. If this is true, please, you have to give us the reason why that decision was made. I think that I can't express the thoughts I'm having, because this is the first I've heard of that from traveling yesterday, that could have been given the option, and I would have definitely made a totally different decision if that was given. But also, it also tells you, is there not room for negotiation for both there? Because you're going to let someone who is definitely evil go back to Russia. You better get something really big for that.
Big time.
And I think you could have gotten both.
I think you're right. Congressman Barry Loudermilk from Georgia's 11th Congressional District. Congressman, another big story happening yesterday. 39 Republicans joined with Democrats in the House to pass the Disrespect for Marriage Act. Were you surprised to see so many of your Republican colleagues turning their back on people of faith?
I really was surprised. We had fewer vote for it this time than last time. But what surprised me about it is because there's some, I look at the list, they've been openly that they were pro-gay, or they have family members that are, and so some didn't surprise me. But what did surprise me is that we didn't all hold together because of the lack of protections for religious liberty in that bill. They were inadequate. They were so narrowly focused that unless you are an organized church, you have no religious protections. If you are a Christian business owner and you want to hold to your convictions, the protection is not there. And so there were some that have voted for this when it first passed the House that did not vote for it this time, and it was because of the lack of religious liberty protections. And so I was very shocked and very surprised that we had 39 of our folks vote for this without protection for conscience, for religious liberty.
And that was my argument, and we've been making this on the program for quite a while now. This is really not about gay marriage. The Supreme Court settled that issue. This is about protecting religious liberty, and the fact that Chip Roy's amendment and Mike Lee's amendment in the House and the Senate, respectively, were rejected. That tells me that ultimately this is not about gay marriage. This is about finding a way to shut down and silence the churches and the Christian ministries in America. That's what concerned me here.
You and I both. I mean, I'm one of these, and I may be in the minority out there, but I don't think government should be involved in marriage, period. This is totally it's a biblical institution. It should be left to the church, but we are in a position to where the government has inserted itself. But that should be a state issue, not a federal issue. And if you're going to do this, then you have to protect constitutional rights, which the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, your freedom to engage in commerce are all constitutionally protected rights. Marriage does not rise to that level, right? So, and this is the argument I have. We're sworn as members of Congress to uphold the Constitution, regardless of what our personal preference is. And to me, this was a constitutional issue that anyone who has taken an oath of office to the Constitution should have voted against that bill.
Congressman, I'm curious, we're going to have Andy Biggs on in just a little while, and the topic of speakership and leadership in the House of Representatives. Scott Perry, chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, says they do not have the votes. McCarthy does not have the votes to be Speaker of the House. Where are you falling out on all of this?
Well, we're in a very interesting time right now because, conservatives, even the Freedom Caucus is split on this. I've been supporting Kevin as Speaker, and I will vote for him on the floor. And people are looking at it from a different angle. And it may be, personal interaction that they've had in the past. And Andy, Scott Perry, they're all good, close friends of mine. And we differ on this. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's supporting Kevin for Speaker. This is one of those that someone who is in the same conservative arena I am, to the level of conservatism that I hold, is likely not going to get elected Speaker because, quite frankly, the moderates within our conference are not going to vote for them. When I look at Kevin, because I've been serving with him for 8 years now, he is the most conservative of any of the Republican speakers that we have. But what I see in Kevin is he has opened up to the conservatives in Congress more than any of the other speakers have. He has gone out and put conservatives into positions of leadership, like Jim Jordan on Judiciary. Mark Meadows, before he went to the White House, he was the ranking Republican on government oversight. And so it isn't always, to me, just what are the conservative, how does the person rank up on conservative values to me, but are they open to give me and my voice a seat at the table to actually influence legislation, to influence what's going forward? And I feel that Kevin has done that. We're never going to find a perfect candidate, and we're looking at 86% of the conference in our vote has said we'd like to see Kevin, but we'll see where it goes from here. Like I said, most of those folks they're good friends of mine, and we work very closely together. But this is one of those that I think we really need to work out before we get to the floor on January 3rd, because the last thing we want is a scenario to where a very moderate ends up as a speaker, or worst case, that Democrats could finagle themselves into, at least it would be temporary, I hope, that a Democrat could slip in and become speaker with a slim Republican majority.
Well, we know that Scott Perry's put out a list of demands, which that look very, I think those are good, solid demands. And let's see how the negotiations. It's all about negotiation at this point, and we'll see how that works out. Congressman, we got to leave it there. We are late for a break, but we really do appreciate your time today, and hope you and the family have a great Merry Christmas.
And Todd, I hope you have a Merry Christmas as well. And hey, folks, let's just keep praying for this country and do everything we can to take it